witch. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, please like, subscribe, hit that thumbs up, and hit that bell button for notifications. All right. Oh yeah, and check out my other videos. I have a lot of different stuff, and we have a lot of content coming up. But I wanted to get Christmas out of the way, and so this video is late, but it is unusual divination techniques. Okay, so I do want to apologize. Sometimes I forget the TV on in the background because I don't think about that. It doesn't distract me. I'm ADHD. Everything distracts me. So I just don't even think about it. So anyway, and I did start a draft of a Book of Shadows for my husband. So I'll be able to easily get information from there instead of having to write it all down or put it on my laptop or whatever, because it's already there and it's printed out. So it's a lot easier. So these are unusual divination techniques or methods. Okay, so these are strange. We're going to start with banana reading. Someone came across this form of divination, the person who wrote this book, many years ago at a market in London. This is the complete book of divination. It's the Llewellyn collection. Okay, so they said that they weren't looking for, I think it's a she. No, it's he. I wasn't looking for a psychic reader at the time, but I had to have a reading from the only banana reader I've ever met. He had a line of people waiting for the readings. They started the process by choosing a banana from a large selection laid out on a table. After paying his assistant, the customers were told to peel the banana and eat it while waiting for their turn. I discovered that the lady in front of me was a regular client, and she was happy to tell me how good the banana reader was. Eventually, it was my turn. I handed the man my banana peel, and he examined it for about 30 seconds before saying a single word. He spoke for 3 or 4 minutes, describing my character before making 2 or 3 predictions. He then tossed the peel into a trash can, indicating that the reading was over. I was impressed at the amount of information he was able to glean from a banana skin, especially as he asked no questions and he didn't seek confirmation of anything he told me. So he knew what he was doing. Like, he knew. A year later, I visited London again and returned to the market to have another reading. Unfortunately, he was no longer there, and no one was able to tell me where he'd gone. I wonder if he passed away. More than 20 years ago, that was it. That was it. So, anyway, I'm guessing it's the way you peel it. That's what I'm thinking. That tells your character by the way you peel it, the way you ate the banana. And I can see that. So the next one is a knee reading, Knee, like your kneecap. So more than 20 years ago, I was reading palms at a psychic fair in Phoenix, Arizona. It wasn't a large fair, and there were about a dozen readers offering their services. There was an empty table next to mine. About an hour after the fair opened, an elderly man put his sign on the table saying knee readings. I'd never heard of this, and I couldn't wait for him to come back and start reading. He took several trips from his car to the table to bring in everything he needed. These included several other signs, including one that said, "Ladies only." The fair wasn't busy yet. He had a line of women waiting for him when he finally opened for business. They were almost all repeat clients. I worked steadily with occasional gaps, but he didn't pause for breath all day. As we were packing up, I asked him about knee reading. He laughed and told me how it started. He and his wife used to read regularly at different fairs. She did tarot readings and he did palmistry. When his wife died, he continued doing the fairs. One day he turned up at a fair and found almost everyone was offering palm readings. He immediately decided he had to do something different, and knee reading was born. I asked him why he read only for women. I live on my own, he told me. I miss female company because I'm old. I'm non-threatening and women don't mind showing me a knee. Why would I read for men when I'm kept more than busy reading for women? I don't know. I have no clue. So, asparagus reading. Okay. Jemima Packington, who lives in Bath, England, is the world's only asparamancer. She discovered her talent at the age of 8 after watching her grandmother experiencing with tea leaves. Jemima tosses spears of asparagus into the air and observes the patterns they make when they land on a mat. Jemima usually presents, now it's usually too bright, now it's too dark. her readings at large events, but doesn't charge for her readings. She uses asparagus to make annual predictions of national and international happenings. So, you know, things happening around us right now, basically. This one I've heard. Nephilomancy is divination by gazing at the colors, shapes, and patterns made by clouds as they pass across the sky. It's not as easy as it sounds, as the speed and direction the clouds are moving in are also interpreted. I'm not going to read all that, okay? Sky stones. I was introduced to sky stones about 50 years ago. Jeez, how old was he? While living in Cornwall, Washington. England. I don't know where Washington came from. I happened to see someone I worked with using them to find out what the fishing would be like on the following day. He received a positive response, and the divination proved correct as he caught a large number of fish. I immediately gathered the necessary stones to try it out for myself. You need 3 stones, one each of gold, silver, and black. Gold pyrite or tiger's eye is ideal for the gold stone. Hematite works well for the silver stone, and the obsidian is perfect for the black stone. My stones are approximately an inch in diameter, and I keep them in a small velvet bag. As this form of divination is thought to be of Celtic origin, it's not surprising that the stones symbolize the 3 thresholds of my words are right together. Dawn, which is gold, dusk, which is silver, and midnight black. So the stones can be used for any question that can be followed by yes or no. To use the stones, you hold them loosely in your hand, ask a question, and then gently toss the stones onto a flat surface. If you have an emotional involvement in the answer to the question, you should get someone else to toss the stones while you're thinking about the question. I get that. The stone that is near the black stone, after they've been tossed, provides the answer. If the gold stone is closer, the answer is yes. If the silver stone is closer to the black stone, the answer is no. If the two stones are the same distance away from the black stone, they need to be tossed again. It's important that you accept the answer the stones provide. Tossing the stones repeatedly in the hope of receiving a different answer implies doubt on the whole procedure, and the stones lose their effectiveness. If you wish, you can find 3 stones of about the same size and paint one of them gold, another silver, and the final one black. So if you don't have any crystals. Dough reading, sometimes called bread reading, requires a fresh loaf of uncut bread. The crusts are cut off, leaving in an oblong piece of dough. A question is asked, and the reader closes her eyes and starts molding the dough into different shapes. She continues doing this for 2 or 3 minutes, and when she feels ready, places it onto a table for opening her eyes. I've met a few female dough readers, but have yet to encounter a male one. The shape that the reader, I was wondering why they said she. The shape that the reader has created is examined from different angles, and the reader interprets the different signs, symbols, and images that the dough has produced. Some dough readers start the reading while molding the dough, but others wait until after they've studied the shape they've created from the dough. The reason why I got mixed up is I'm ADHD and I was already ready to tell you something else. Okay, so I think these come from wanting to try something different, or maybe it's something someone has figured out in their family and it stays in their family, you know. So there's gyromancy. So they did it more for fun than anything else, but every now and again, useful information came as a result of the exercise. The process is simple. You need 28 sheets of paper. Write the letters of the alphabet and the words yes and no on them, and spread them in a circle around a central object, such as a chair. Start working around the chair quickly and continue doing this until you become giddy. When you reach this stage, you'll start to stagger and lurch. This means you'll make contact with some of the sheets of paper. A second person records all the letters that you touch until he or she has written down at least 10 of them. Once you've recovered, you can look at the letters you indicated and see if you can create a message from them. That is something we got to try, you guys. We're going to do this on the channel, okay? So gyromancy, we're trying that. All right, let's keep going. Ouija board reading, we already know what that is. A shell reading. So about 30 years ago, it was rare to find anyone who practiced shell divination. However, it seems to have become much more popular over the last 15 or 20 years. These are almost done, you guys. Almost every child must have placed a shell against their ear and listen to what happens. I'm so sorry, I shouldn't have read this in the dark. Appears to be sounds of the sea. Okay, in fact, what they're hearing is the sound of blood flowing through the vessels in their ear. So, one method of shell reading involves listening carefully to the sounds that come through the shell. Some people close their eyes while doing this to eliminate any potential distractions. After a while, brief conversations can be heard. At first, it seems impossible to pick up any words, but with practice, you'll be able to pick up a word here and there. In time, you'll be able to hear entire conversations. Most of the time, these will have little relevance to what is occurring in your life. Consequently, you'll need to mentally break into the conversation by asking a question. According to people I've spoken to who practice shell divination, there we go again. The question is usually followed by a few moments of silence, and then the conversation resumes, and hopefully, but not always, will answer your question. So what I was going to tell you is I'd like to try this too. My mother gave me a big seashell. So another method used by Centuria and diviners in West Africa involves tossing cowrie shells. Most diviners use 16 shells, but more or less can be used. These land on the divination mat with either the side containing a longitudinal slit or the rounded side uppermost. Okay, I'm just going to do this. In practice, most shell diviners grind away part of the rounded side to make another opening on the side opposite the longitudinal slit. The number of shells that fall on the dividing mat slit or rounded side up are interpreted to create the reading. Oh, so there's knife reading. Okay, so this is how it's done. The predictions are arranged around the plate. The table knife is placed on the dinner plate, and everyone has a turn at spinning it. The prediction that the blade is pointing at when it stops moving is the reading for the person who spun the knife. Here are some possible prophecies that could be used. Good news is coming your way. Your project will be successful. Success after difficulty. Someone admires you. This is a good time to make travel plans. And then they keep going on and on. So you can make, just cut out a little piece of paper, write things on it, and do it like that. I've actually seen something similar to that, and I think we'll do that on the channel too. So toothpick reading. Clasp the toothpicks together in your fist and hold them several inches above the tablecloth. Think of a question you'd like to have answered and open your fist. Allowing the toothpicks to drop to the table. Examine the different shapes the toothpick create on the table and use your imagination to interpret them. Let's see how many you use. Oh, required, it says before the method. 30 to 40 toothpicks. There's also another way of like breaking them to different pieces. This one's not on here, but okay, so those were the unusual ones, but there was a whole list in here. So I'm gonna look for that real quick, okay? Because there's more stuff. Okay, I'm having issues with my room. Okay, so augury. I found that to be interesting. Augury. It looks like you're about to spell August, okay? So have you ever been, you ever asked someone how they knew something and they're like, a little bird told me? It's actually a form of divination. Okay, so it's the art of divining from the actions and sounds of birds and other animals. So that's where that came from. That's interesting, huh? It's divination by observing the signs of nature to determine the desires of the gods. Probably dates back to Chaldean times. Chaldean. I have learned that I thought I knew a lot about history, and I don't know if it's from the lupus affecting my memory, but I do not remember a lot of stuff, apparently. Okay, as it originally referred to the movements and sounds of birds, augury possibly began because the ability of birds to fly enabled them to get closer to the gods. Anyway, it speaks on that and the types of augury. So I thought that was really interesting. I don't know about you guys, but I thought it was. And if you're not aware what automatic writing is, it's basically like a spirit coming through you and it writes. I have a hard time with this. I think I'm too heavy-handed. So I've gotten a little stuff come through, but I've seen someone in action do this, and it's really freaking cool. It was years ago, like 2012. So anyway, it says a lot of stuff on the automatic writing, and I wanted to jump through here. And bibliomancy, of course, that's the Bible. Like I just, some of these aren't like odd things, but bone reading is different. You know, some people think that certain things aren't odd, and some people think certain things are odd. So it depends on what you've been around in your life. And there's candle reading. So basically, okay, this is how they do it. This is derived from the ancient Greek method mentioned above. Well, we didn't read that. 3 candles are placed to mark the 3 corners of a triangle. The candles are lit, and unlike the ancient Greek version, the flames from all three candles are interpreted. Wavering flames indicate a change. Rising and falling flames are a sign of danger, and flames creating spiral or warnings. Anyway, I think it's the way that the flames are moving is how you can interpret it. And I thought that was pretty cool. Chinese astrology, which I think I'm an ox. Yep, 1985 was an ox. Like, I never really got too much into that. I saw it while I was, when I'd go eat Chinese. We always went to the same restaurant for years. And then there's the 5 elements. I don't know exactly why they think that. Anyway. Dimensions of the moon. Oh, that's probably still that. Okay, so coin divination. Dice divination. Your stone divination. There's all different types. Domino divination. I'm not going to go through all these, but I thought you guys would find that something interesting that you could look up yourself, because this video would be extremely long. Face reading. That one's cool too. Flower divination. So you can look up some of these that you find in geomancy. That you find interesting, and you can look it up yourself. Like, so geomancy. The word geomancy comes from the Greek word geomantia. Geo means earth, and manteria means mancy, relates to divination. Jeez. Therefore, geomancy is the art of divination from the earth. Geomancy is one of the oldest forms of divination, and its origins are a mystery, as is usually the case. There are a number of stories about its origin. So anyway, it talks about 16 figures. Geomancy uses 16 figures, each of which has a wide range of associations and meanings. The figures are created by making 4 rows of small marks on the ground or on a sheet of paper. The marks are made from the right to the left. As each row needs a random number of marks, the diviner, or diviner, whatever, thinks of his or her question while making the marks as quickly as possible, paying as little attention as he or she can to the process. I don't know what's worse, no light or too much light. Anyway, and it goes on, and so it's numbers they're coming up with, like 16 characters, the carcerer, which is prison. Like, I don't know, this one is something I'd like to get into, though. And then there's daisy divination, dandelion, apple divination, twin roses, cromneomancy. I mean, it just keeps going on. This book is on divination. So, of course, it's got tarot and runes and stuff in it. And it's got a lot of information on those. Like, here, I'll show you. Like, I think they waste the pages, though. I think I've told you guys this before on the tarot. See, look at the full card. They wasted so much space. So, anyway, oh, wait. No, I already did that one, didn't I? Did I just say knife readings and toothpick readings and stuff? I did. Okay, so I did get to that. I'm glad I was able to. I got the sun signs, the moon signs, days of the week, times of the day. Oh, numerology. That is something we're going to be discussing. I was already supposed to. I apologize. I'm into numerology big time. I love it. Okay, so divination is very unique to the person. Like, everyone does different ones. And the reason why I think that is everyone's gifted. Like, we're all made uniquely. And so we're made to do things a certain way. Like, not a certain way, but I am, okay, so my sun sign is Pisces, but I'm mostly like fire signs. Like, all 3 of them. But I definitely have the creative sign of a Pisces. Where I like to sleep a lot. Sometimes I don't feel like doing anything. Well, I think that has to do with my health problems, but anyway, we're going to be discussing so much on this channel, but I have to slow down. And the last few days, even though I hadn't really done a lot, I still stressed about it. So I do have to stop doing that. What do you guys think of my hair? So I'm also going to be showing you guys how to do this. I thought that would be interesting. It has nothing to do with witchcraft, but it is kind of magical. You literally, this one does not eat your hair, okay? I don't know if it's a price difference, but this one also is cordless. So it's amazing. My husband helped me like the first few pieces, and I'm like, I got this. I really enjoyed it. Like, there's so many different settings. You can do different sizes. You can, like, it's cool. So anyway, I got to go on to the next video. I hope you guys enjoyed this.